If you could, Michael, take roll call.
Alderman Bob Bauman. Mr. Mark Flaherty.
Here.
Mr. James Cantor.
Here.
Mr. Scott Mansky.
Here.
Mr. Greg Marcus. Ms. Aisha Sawa.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, good. I think we'll try to move relatively quickly today. First is any discussion, and if not, approval of the meeting minutes from last month's meeting on April 11th. Do we have any discussion? August, did I say April?
Yeah.
August 11th, sorry. Any discussion on the meeting minutes? Seek a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Great. Meeting minutes are approved. We will now move to Steve and have a financial report and update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, everyone. Today's financial update is a bit brief. You'll notice our normal financial exhibits are not part of today's packet. There have been no material changes to our 22 forecast projections presented at the August board meeting. We'll be providing you all a more comprehensive update of where we expect to finish the year during next month's committee meeting. Also, we continue to make progress developing the 23 budget and look forward to sharing that with you in the coming weeks. I believe Michael Maxwell has scheduled those individual meetings with each member of the Finance Committee to review and discuss management's budget assumptions and goals prior to presenting a final draft of the budget for the committee's formal consideration on October 13th. And lastly, since the board voted to approve the district's plan to address the $36 million project budget gap, we have received into our accounts the bonus and grant monies provided by Levy Restaurants. As it pertains to the bond transaction, we hope to price the debt as early as next week and look to close on that transaction before our next scheduled committee meeting. At this time, no significant issues have occurred that would materially alter the timing or cost of the debt since our discussion in August. We'll certainly provide a more formal recap of that transaction in October. That's the financial update today.
Wow.
Transition right into the next budget item.
You are. Yes, all right. Any questions for Steve? All right, next budget item is our audit.
Okay, the primary purpose of today's meeting. We're here to review the single audit report prepared by Baker Tilly as it pertains to the district's receipt of federal grant funds in 2021. And that report starts on page 5 of your committee packet today. At the conclusion of today's discussion, management will ask the committee to vote on recommending that the full board adopt this report at the September 16th board meeting. The board's adoption of this report is required before Baker Tilly can submit their findings to the federal audit clearinghouse in advance of the September 30th deadline. The purpose of a single audit is to provide assurance to the federal government that a non-federal entity like the district has adequate internal controls in place and is generally in compliance with the grant program requirements. And the headline here today, as noted in the second paragraph of page 3 of the report, which is the 9th page of your committee packet, is that Baker Tilly has confirmed the district has complied in all material respects with the compliance requirements of the federal program from which we receive grant funds. This is the conclusion that the district sought to receive from this audit process. The federal program from which the district received funds was a Shutter Venue Operators Grant Program, which was administered through the Small Business Administration. The district received just north of $983,000. The threshold limit on federal grant funds an organization can receive before a single audit is required is $750,000 in a given year, which we well exceeded. The district used these grant funds to reimburse itself for eligible expenses incurred in 20 and 21 related to the district's theater business, specifically wages and benefits, utility costs, and other expenses such as building repairs and supplies. Part of Baker Tilly's report includes the audit letter that accompanied the district's financial statement audit this past May, which is pages 1 and 2 of the report, and 7 and 8 of the packet. Yes, 7 and 8 of the packet. The findings of our May audit have to be included in the reporting package that Baker Tilly ultimately submits, which is why we see them restated here today. One item that might stick out to you as part of the May audit letter is the material weakness finding identified by Baker Tilly as it pertains to the district's reliance on Baker Tilly to prepare its financial statements. This finding, as we've explained in the past to the committee and board, is reported in our annual audit every year. In fact, it's quite common for smaller government agencies and nonprofit organizations to have such a finding identified in their statements. Neither management nor Baker Tilly is concerned about this finding as it pertains to the submittal of the final reporting package to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. As to other elements of this report, page 6, it's a very basic, let's see here, which is page 12 of your committee packet. Page 6 is a very basic summary schedule of grant funds received. This schedule has a bit more value, I think, to an organization that receives multiple grants in a year, as it summarizes salient attributes of grants received as it pertains to the district. Our sole grant is summarized here. Page 7 includes some basic footnotes that Baker Tilly has authored that comment on the presentation of the numbers, as well as the district's county policies that support the numbers. Again, nothing out of the ordinary here. And pages 8 and 9 represent a checklist of sorts that Baker Tilly is required to populate that pretty much summarize the findings that were noted in the auditor letters on pages 1 through 5. As I stated before, this audit was required as a condition of receiving grant funds from the federal government, and the district achieved the audit result it wanted. Mr. Chairman, happy to answer any questions, and if there are none, management would ask the committee to vote on recommending that the full board adopt supporting next week's board meeting.
Are there any questions on the single audit report that Steve's gone through?
Can you tell me what the status is of the financial audit report?
The financial audit report was adopted by the board in May.
Okay.
That is closed out for the year. That report has been posted on Emma pursuant to our disclosure requirements. Nothing more left to do in that regard.
Okay, and this one was reason this one is later?
The deadline for submitting the single audit is 9 months after the close of the period, which is September 30th. So Baker Tilly began the audit work on this in early July. We received their draft report a week or two ago, and we're here today to get the input of the committee on this.
And there was nothing they found in their review of this audit, right?
No, we are in compliance with all the material obligations and requirements of the federal government.
Okay. And what was your spending on for this grant?
The total grant was valued at just over $983,000, Scott. The funds were applied against previously incurred expenses from our theater business. The Shutter Venue Operators Grant Program was very specific to that type of entertainment. So we could not apply for funds that pertained to our business in the convention center or even the arena for that matter. But we were eligible in terms of our business in the theater.
And you were able to get a similar amount for 2022?
In 2022, we received a supplementary award of $491,000, which is just about half of what we received in 21. And those funds were also applied towards similar expenditures such as wages and benefits, utility expenses, and other expenses such as repairs and maintenance in the theater. At this time, we're not required to perform a single audit for that grant because we have not exceeded the $750,000 threshold. If the district does receive other federal monies in 22 that would push us over that dollar amount in total, then we would go through the same process with Baker Tilly next year.
So, okay, so you don't, because of the $750,000 amount, you don't think there will be a requirement?
Correct.
Okay. 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 I will move approval of this report.
And I think we would, yeah, all right. All in favor of endorsing the findings in the report from Steve and the team, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Great. Okay, so I think we have the, I know we have the endorsement then as we go into the committee, or the full board meeting next Friday.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you for that. With that, I think the only things we have are any board meeting agenda review, which is very similar to what we have just gone through today. I believe that is on page 16. We will go through this financial report and the single audit again with the whole board. And I believe this one will all be virtual, all virtual. I do
Yes.
not have to be there.
You have to attend, but not in person.
Right.
And the deterrent is there is no breakfast being served, so.
So that's why I will not be here for sure. Then future meeting dates, I think nothing's changed other than the virtual meeting on Friday, and then we have October, November, and nothing in December. Those are also in your packet. Do you have any other questions?
Nope.
We'll seek approval or seek a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Jim, I don't mean to be technical, but I think you need a second.
For
The adjournment.
clarity,
Sorry.
I think Mark did.
I did.
All right.
But thanks for keeping us honest, you know?
Yeah.
I appreciate that, you know,
Lucky you're
so
virtual.
much. Being an elected official, I know, I truly appreciate that. So.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
Next
week.
weekend,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Very much.